Hi everyone, Lee here, aka Limo57. I hope you're safe and I hope you're well. Just a quick message to remember that your mental health matters, your mind matters, and if you are struggling, please reach out. It is okay not to be okay. You can get in touch with me personally via Discord, via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, any of the social media platforms, and you can also find the charity that I'm a director for, which is Evolving Mindset, and you can go to www.evolvingmindset.co.uk and you can see the support that we offer there as well. We offer free online advice, support, education and guidance, so please remember you're not on your own. You're not on your own in this community. Remember, mental health matters and your mind matters. Please get in touch and don't suffer in silence.
Hello everyone, welcome along to another episode of Football Manager Therapy. I'm your host Tony Jameson, and joining me as always is the one and only Rich Owens. Rich, how are you, buddy?
I am very, very well, thank you, mate. Very, very well indeed. How are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm very good, thank you. We've had a nice week this week. There's been some sunshine. It's covered some terrible PvP performances, which we will talk about in a little second. But I think we've had a good week in FMT. Obviously, we've released a couple of episodes recently in short succession. We released a mental health episode, of course, to mark Mental Health Awareness Week with Limo and Evolving Mindset. So if you haven't checked that out, go and check that out on back also on the YouTube channel and of course on the back catalogue of the podcast. And we had a fantastic conversation with Dr. Benji, which an hour and a half. I mean, that's long. That is long. And we didn't even scrape the surface on that one, did we?
No, not at all. Like, we could quite easily have gone for another hour and a half on that. Like, it was absolute joy having Ben on the podcast, and I think I can say now we'll be looking to get Ben back for another chat at some point soon.
Oh, absolutely.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah, fantastic conversation, really insightful. So yeah, if you haven't caught the last couple of episodes, go and check those out. But today it's back with us two, mate. You know, because obviously that's the thing. It's our turf, so we need to establish our ground rules and our ways of working. So we'll talk a little bit about what's been happening recently. So obviously with PvP we've touched upon. I've been competing, which I mean, competing probably in the loosest sense of the word, to be honest. I have been in some drafts recently. And once we get past that conversation, we'll get into saves and we'll get into a new story. So I'll address the PvP thing from the start. Okay. I have been doing pretty well recently. I got a little bit of a hot streak in FM22. I won some tournaments. I've won the FM Super League, which is great. Won that convincingly. I then got to the final of the Spring Cup. Lost to Goofy Jord in that one, which was a bit of a shocker, to be honest. We went to extra time. And recently, I have done badly in the FM playoffs, which seems to be an albatross that hangs over my neck like no one's business. But again, but shout out, of course, to playing up against the original creator Ian McIntosh in the El Creator Co, I think we called it, which is
the People's Final, Tony. The People's Final, the match we all wanted to see.
The People's Final was match day 3 of a tournament. Like, it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. We used the 92-93 database by the Mad Scientist. Shout out, of course, to the Mad Scientist for that. It was a fantastic tournament. I didn't get out the groups that one, unfortunately, but I put Ian over. He went through on the last day of the groups by my results. That was good. Viking Down went on and won that tournament. Mozza was in the final as well, which bit of a surprise, to be honest. And then I was in Wasted Possession qualifiers in the group of death, the absolute group of death. I mean, we touched upon it at the end in the Dr. Benji episode. Me, Dr. Benji, Curty, and RDF Tactics.
That's a big group. That's a big group, isn't it? It's that's a big one because Dr. Benji was a last minute replacement, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he popped in for Matt Blanco. He was a ringer, if anything.
I know, which personally, I think that, I personally, I would never ask somebody to step in for me last minute in a PvP tournament.
God, no.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine could you imagine the shape of that? I mean,
Can you imagine how badly that would go?
Just ringing someone up going, my child is going to hospital. The squad is drafted. I've spoken to the organisers, and you're on in an hour. I mean, what sort of barbaric animal would do that?
Exactly. What kind of awful human being would do that? And then for that person to go on and put in a better performance than that person ever had in the competition as well. Disgusting. You'd never see me doing that.
No. I mean, that did happen. That did happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really did. Yeah. If anyone's confused,
what we've done there.
I wonder who they mean. They mean us. So that happened, and then of course Matt Blanco had to pull out and sent Dr. Benji in, who again is, as you say, a bit of a ringer, a little bit like when you're playing five-a-side and someone can't make it, and they go, "Oh, my mate will play," and he turns up and he's got coloured boots, and he's going, he used to be a professional, didn't he? Or at least was semi-pro. And he had trials back in the day. Of course, he had trials back in the day. And he scores 82 goals in that match. That was what we were expecting. But Curtie and RDF went running out early doors on the title hunt. Myself and Ben, we took it slow. We were just like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Very much was our way of thinking. I lost my first 2 games, and then I drew with Ben, and I needed to win my final 3 games to get out of the group. I won 2. I beat Curtie and I beat RDF in possibly the biggest shithousing performances ever. Like, I'm sure was it RDF? I won with 10 men as well, and he had like 20 shots, and I had 4 or something like that. Like, I was like, oh, I felt so bad because, of course, we love RDF, and he's a good friend of ours, and he comes on the podcast a lot, and yeah, we ground that one out, and then Curtie we went 2-0 up against, and we just shut up shop, and I was like, okay, this is good. It's in our hands. We're currently second going into the final game week. All we've got to do, beat Ben or get a draw and hope that RDF Tactics loses to Curtie. It's in my hands. So, of course, I lose 4-0 to Ben. Because of course it is.
Because of course. At that point, winning's not really an option for you. It's been put on the table, and like a fussy toddler, you've gone no. I've asked for it. It's what I've asked for my dinner. But now you've presented it to me. I just want a yogurt, and that's what's happened.
Oh, mate, it's like when the waiter turns up and he's got like a lovely prepared steak, and you're going, I asked for that medium. And he sends it back, and he comes back, and then he replaces it, and he turns it and he goes, "Is that your like it, sir?" And you go, "That's burnt, isn't it? That's very much." Actually, in hindsight, what you brought out was medium. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, this is how incredible that run was. Like Mrs. O, my beautiful wife, she was when you went into the final game, she was invested in what was going on.
Oh,
like which is for her, she still doesn't understand this. She doesn't know what this is. I don't think she knows what podcasts are, let alone Football Manager, to the point where she was like, "Is that Tony? Is he winning?" Like, yeah.
The question that was echoing throughout the community, is Tony winning?
Yeah. Surely not. No. And then, as it turns out, not.
It got to the point where even Mrs. J believed. She was like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna actually qualify. Like, the idiot has given everyone a 3-game head start. And I was sitting there going, now, have you seen the magic trick where the magician turns up and there's a table full of beautiful bone china and food, and he goes, I can pull the tablecloth off without ruining anything, and everyone goes, can you? And he goes, we'll soon find out. And I went, boom. And I pulled up rather than across, and everything went everywhere. And Donnarumma scored from a corner to make it 4-0. So that was hard. It was hard to take that one. So I thought, you know, we can improve upon it, dust myself off. I wasn't expected to win that, right?
Sure.
I also finished bottom of the group on that result. So, so I went from second to bottom. So I thought, fine, dust ourselves off. We go again into the Super League, reigning defending champ, season 2. I've got my belt on my shoulder, turn up like Brock Lesnar. I draft really well, I thought. I drafted pretty well. Hood Gaiman's on the comms and Alice FM girl saying, "Oh, he's done well." Hood's going, "Oh, he's got the players that I would be getting." No one seems to be going up against him, like, you know, trying to match up the tactic that I've been playing for a while. I picked Tony Cruz up in like round 7 or something. I was having a great time. Got myself sorted. Went into the first match. The group looked like it was going to favor me as well. It wasn't the worst group I could have had. So it was myself. It was Ali. So shout out to Ali, of course. Henry FM. We love Henry FM also. And Limo. Talk about that narrative word again. Okay,
exactly. There it is.
Comes up. We've had a great conversation that week. We're going to have a great conversation live playing some Football Manager. So first match, I go in and I've been griefing Henry. This is the problem, right? This is the problem. I've been griefing Henry in the warm-up because he's going about ordering a takeaway and his poppadoms haven't turned up. So I've got my chat going on about, oh, where's your poppadoms? Where's your poppadoms? Turns out he beat me 3-0 and did not need poppadoms.
Yeah. There's the poppadoms. There they are.
Yeah. Turns out that Edison gives the ball away a lot. Mbappe can score in PvP. I've never seen it before, but he did this time.
Wow.
I got beat 3-0 and I was like, oh, that's not how we planned to start this contest.
No.
So we then took on Ali and beat Ali, beat him 2-1. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe we're back. Then we played Limo and we lost 3-1 to Limo. Finished bottom of that group as well. So normal service has been resumed, is essentially
absolutely.
So I've gone from Tony's the favourite, he's going to do really well in this tournament too. Tony was in that tournament, wasn't he? Do you remember that?
Do you remember, yeah, you've gone from Tony Jameson, PvP hero, comeback kid, story of the year, to Tony Jameson, contestant. That's it's
I very much know Tony Jameson was also there.
Would you care to expand on that? We would not. No. But
so so my drafting is done for now. I don't think there's anything on the horizon at the minute that I'll be putting myself in for. Of course, we have the TJ FM versus the community draft, which you can come and join up and play against us if you wish. Of course, they're available via Discord, so come and join the Discord and do that. But yeah, I think competitive drafting for the minute, I don't really see a need to be going in and doing any more just right now, unless of course something really fun turns up. But I can't see it. I think that I'm back into that situation of going, oh, it was going so well. I started to believe my own hype. That was the problem.
But it was well deserved, albeit temporary, but well deserved temporary hype.
Mate, you know what I mean? Now, look in the history books. It'll say at some point, it'll say Tony Jameson champion, and then it'll also say Tony Jameson contestant.
Exactly. You are the PvP equivalent of Charles and Zogbia. just wonderful. Just wonderful in short bursts. Just unplayable on your day for a short period of time. Generally around the kind of time you're angling for a move to a different club, but then you're just there. You're just there the rest of the time.
Yeah, so, yeah. Quite a talent, but strangely only ever gets signed for relegation candidates. So looks very much like he's out of place.
Competition winner, Tony Jameson. He's in.
Yeah. So that's been my week, I suppose. Really. What about your week, Rich? Have you been anything that's non-FM based or FM based? Whereabouts are you up to at the minute? Where's your streaming at right now? Because you're back streaming, aren't you?
Yeah, but back streaming consistently, which is very off-brand for me. But it's been great fun getting back into streaming consistently again over the last few months. So at the moment, the stream save, we've headed off to Lille. So back to France.
Mhm.
It's been an offline preference of mine for the last kind of like 3 or 4 versions of FM. I think when the regular stream started back up again, I think touched on this in the in the Dr. Benji episode, started with, a tier 10, super local, Worcester Raiders, a tier 10 football club with a 12,500 seater stadium, which is always fun. And it didn't sit right. It wasn't enjoying it. It felt a bit grindy, felt a bit tedious. So we switched it, move off to Lille, and Lille has been great fun. It's been an absolute joy, actually. It's gone significantly better than we thought it was going to. It's the kind of club where I forgot when I started the save, I forgot they were actually defending French champions. They won Ligue 1 last season in real life, IRL, which by the time I started the save up, it just completely escaped me. So straight away, you presented with the concept of European football. The board are quite forgiving because I think they've realised that, winning the league was the exception rather than the rule. So, you get some pretty attainable objectives for your first season. The problem that I had, though, I had a very early problem. At the time, believe it or not, Tony, I was experiencing a few technical difficulties with my PC. Who'd have guessed?
Surely not.
I know. Normally, so reliable, so sturdy. We definitely don't have the reputation of the two people with the most laughable rigs in the FM community. Mine, I think, is powered by Steam, which is quite terrifying. So we did all of pre-season, season number 1, did all of pre-season, got to the name of the competition escapes me, but essentially it's the French equivalent of the Charity Shield. It's league winners versus French Cup winners against PSG, and then everything crashed to the point where I had to completely uninstall and reinstall everything on my computer. I'd spent the whole stream waxing lyrical about the Lille squad, about how it's quite well balanced. There's a really nice mix of youth and experience. The plan was look at the 2-3 best players you've got in the team and build around them. They're the core. See what you can get in. It's quite a meager budget. You haven't got a lot to work with out there, but players like Renato Sanchez. I love Renato Sanchez. Everyone loves a redemption story, and he's gone from flop at Swansea on loan to winning Liga and playing quite an important part in that in real life. So you've got players like Renato Sanchez, Jonathan David, the Canadian striker, who's wonderful, Zeki Çelik, who's the Turkish fullback, slept on in PvP. I rate him. I'm sat there like, right, got to keep hold of these players. If any big clubs come in for these players, we say no. We're not interested in selling. We want to keep them here. They are the core of what we're doing. Got through the whole pre-season, managed to keep them. Felt quite smug. Game crashes, reload. I'm like, I'll do pre-season offline. Nobody wants to sit through another 4-hour pre-season admin stream. They're not the best ones. Start the save up. Within the first week, I get an offer from Newcastle for Renato Sanchez. They come up with silly money for him. And I said, no, I'm not selling him for that silly money. I want more silly money, thinking that they'd say, no, we're not going to do that. As it turns out, Eddie Howe just went, yeah, fine. We will accept your negotiated offer of £70 million for him, because he wanted to go as well. Because as it turns out, virtual Renato Sanchez, morally bereft, just likes a payday and doesn't like asking where the money's come from. So off he goes. We lose Zeki Çelik as well. Suddenly we're like, actually, we've got a budget, we've got players, so strengthened the squad from top to bottom. And we thought, this is good. This is a really good building block. We signed some really, really good players, some really interesting players. Very much like you, Tony. I'm not very much of a manage big clubs and big leagues kind of guy normally. So everything I've done so far this year in FM up until the start of the save, I've not touched, on your big European leagues. I don't know who the wonder kids are. You hear bits and pieces through, you hear it in draft competitions, that kind of thing, but you don't, I wasn't particularly clued up on the wonder kid side of things. And I accidentally signed 2 of them, which was really good fun. Karim Adeyemi, who I was convinced had a thing in place for Dortmund. So I wasn't looking for him, just got offered him, thought he'll do. Hossam Aouar, the Lille central midfielder, who's got a year left in his contract. You can sign him for a pittance. So suddenly everything's looking really, really good. Squad looked good. The tactic looked good. I was like, we might be in with the chance of doing well this season. And then I experienced my big first setback. It's I've talked about it on stream quite a lot. I call it the PSG phenomenon because they see a club that when you manage, if you manage anywhere else in Europe, if you come up against in the Champions League, for example, if you have PSG in like a Champions League group stage with you, they always seems to be beatable. And I'm speaking on this experience for, doing the Discord challenges, other bits and pieces, like the other offline save I was doing previously. You come up against them in the Champions League, and they're all right. Apparently, it's the same with Juve in Serie A. They're average at best if you play them in European competition. They just don't look great. But if you manage in Italy, Juve are the best team on the planet. Same with PSG in France. If you manage in France, PSG are world beaters. They just embarrassed everybody in the league. I mean, end of season 1, I'd set records for like the highest points total in Lille's history. We went on an absolute tear after the new year, like unstoppable. But at that point, we were already like 10 points behind PSG. Most league games were in a season set the record there, which was very, very surprising considering the start to the save didn't go that well. Set all these records, doing so well, but then you look at the league table and you're still 16 points behind PSG. Like that gap is just unachievable. It can't be done, which is a bit demoralising, a little bit demoralising. But then you see them, you watch their performances in other saves, and they struggle. They finish second, third. Teams like Nice are up there. Monaco's are up there, but managing in that country, they are unbeatable. It's a little bit frustrating considering the aim of the save is basically, dethrone PSG. I want to win the league and I want to do something in Europe, and then maybe we move on elsewhere. But at the moment, it's just no matter how well we're doing, they're just always 3 steps ahead, which is, as I say, a little bit demotivating. But I've got to say that, we've put together a really, really nice team. Went bargain shopping in season 2. You've got players like, clubs like PSG who are spending, 40, 50 million pounds on fullbacks. I'm like, nah. Remember Timothy Fosu-Mensah from, he'll do. He'll do. You know what? He's a utility.
That's the sort of stupidity I do.
Play in the middle. Yeah. I'm sat there. I'm like, Gelson Martins. That's a sensible signing. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much money now. I've spent
Phil Jones on a free transfer. This is great.
You joke about Phil Jones, but I was this close to signing Phil Jones. I'm like, all of my pre-contract signings from the season before, they all pied me off early doors. I was this far away. I had a list of all my pre-contract signings I wanted to get in, and it was players like Onana, the Ajax goalkeeper. Nobody's interested. I offer him a pre-contract. He agrees. It's a super easy negotiation. Suddenly, Newcastle are back in, offering 3 times what I'm offering him, and so he's straight off there. Zagadou, the Dortmund Dortmund centre back, he's available on a free. But it's that whole. Well, I'm going to bide my time. I'm going to weigh up the options. We'll see how that goes. And then the second Dortmund offer him a new contract, he signs on the dotted line straight away. I just missed out on all of them. I was like, well, what I'll do now is I'll take the dregs. The players nobody else wanted, and I'll mount a title challenge with them. And so far, at the time of recording, we're about a third of the way through the season. Top of the league. Which is not bad. I've got a game in hand. Top of the league. It's looking favourable. Haven't played PSG yet, which is could be where it all just crumbles. But top of the league, doing quite well. We had to battle through Champions League qualification, which we did. Pulled, not too dissimilar to yourself. A bit of a group of death. Bit of our horrible Champions League qualifying group, including Arsenal, Roma, and Bayern Munich.
Never heard of any of them.
No. Well, they're all right. They're all right teams. Went to Munich, took 3 points away, much to everybody's surprise, including mine. You've never seen a man at a full-time whistle just go, Are you sure?
Just go to the ref. Go check that result because that looks wrong. Whoever's put the scoreboard on there has made a mistake.
I've scored more goals than them, and I don't think that's right.
Did I miss them scoring goals? Because it doesn't seem like you've written it down.
Did we? Should we? Yeah. Should we have 10 more minutes? I feel like we should. I feel like we should be doing 10 more minutes. I feel like I'm happy to do next goal wins, and I'm happy for them to score it. It takes the pressure off.
It's their ball as well. Like literally, if they'd have gone home for their tea, they would have been morally allowed to win this. So absolutely,
yeah. If Robert Lewandowski's mum had called him in for his tea, then like everybody, them's the rules. Them's the rules. So yeah, it's all going. It's all going a lot better than I thought it was going to be going at this point in the save. But, that also means that there's plenty of times for the wheel to fall off. There's the axles have been loosened. The steering wheel's a bit shaky. It's early doors yet. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I just know that a couple of losses and then suddenly that's it. It's over. So, but at the same time, I'm trying to enjoy it while it lasts. So it's, bit of a mixed bag.
I like it.
Emotionally.
You can already, it's almost like you've driven past a sign that says roadworks ahead and you've went, no, there's not.
No, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Yeah, you're driving down a country lane. There's road ahead closed signs. I tell you what, I'm going to get to where I need to go before that road closes. What am I basing that on? Blind optimism.
Yeah.
Can't wait to do 10 miles back in the opposite direction, just swearing the whole time.
Yeah,
should have known.
Just gonna go. I'm going to avoid the detour. It's going to be fine. I know where we're going.
Yeah, where I'm going. I don't need roads. No, I do. As it turns out, this smart car is not fit for off-road purposes.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to seeing how it pans out, man. Like it's going to be good. Yeah, obviously, I think Lille sort of seems to suit you. I don't know what it is, but I think Lille does seem to suit you. Like you seem to have a good vibe on your stream, and you seem to be enjoying it, which again is obviously the main thing. And as you say, it's a club who have lofty ambitions, but also are fairly realistic in their view as well. So
yeah,
it's not that sort of like, oh, let's start with Lille, and we've been sacked after 6 months because we're currently sat fourth, and they expect us to be winning the league straight away. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You've also been doing as well. You've also been doing the Discord challenge, Burnley or PSV. Now, I personally, despite loving the idea of PSV, of course, got dragged straight into Burnley. I looked at PSV and I was like, it's not you, it's me. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, I love the idea of it. And in fact, I even suggested PSV. Like, that was because of me that PSV are on the list of teams as a possibility. I've got in my head this idealistic, Bobby Robson bringing a young Ronaldo through. This is going to be fantastic. But of course, as was discussed on a previous episode, one of our loyal listeners, I think it was Jordan, said, it's a little bit too similar to Bruges, and I was like, yeah, I think you're right, actually, to be honest. And I tell you what's not like Bruges, Burnley. Burnley is not like Bruges at all. In Burnley is a terrible film. In Bruges, good film. In Burnley is weird, right? So I rock up, of course, at Turf Moor, and the fans greet me as if I'm the second coming of Sean Dyche because they're going, this man does not want to go forward at all. Old Jameson long ball over here is gonna take us to new heights. And do you know what? Right? Do you know what? I was actually quite disappointed because after a month in charge of Burnley, the board said I wasn't playing, quote, I was not playing enough direct football. The Burnley board thought I was playing bloody tiki-taka. I was like, I've got it on direct passing. And the board are going, yeah, but you can move that up a notch more, right? Like, you could go to extremely direct. I'm like, sorry for trying to, have a knockdown. That I didn't realize that was classed as a pass in your playbook here. So I'm on it. I'm having a good time. We touched upon it on the Ben episode that I've had. I will say for officially trialists of Emmanuel Adebayor and Branislav Ivanovic. I'm so tempted to bring them both in full time this term, though. So tempted. I I made some signings though. I signed Chris Meffam, a centre half, pretty decent. I thought was a good shout. I also brought in there's a French defender, Valdeman, fullback. I think he plays for Marseille, possibly. He's
Is it Josh Vangerman?
That's the guy. That's the guy.
Very German.
Well,
very German.
European. It's just European.
He's a man of European background.
I don't see nationality, right? So just he turned up. He put on a French accent in the transfer negotiations, right? So in he came, right? He's doing a lovely job at right back because we've shifted out Matt Loughton off to the substitutes bench for that. We've got Maxwell Cornet, of course, on the left back, and as I say, we've got Meffam at centre half. We've also got Joe Geldhart from Leeds on loan with Morten Weghorst up front, which is just beautiful. It's beautiful. It's everything you want it to be.
I am so in love with Val Weghorst. I adore him. Absolutely adore him. Yeah, it seems because this is the first time we've talked about these signings, and there was a very, very small part of me because I saw the pictures that you put in the Discord about I saw the Adebayor and the Ivanovic, and there was a very, very small part of me that was like, he's done it, hasn't he? He's brought them in on trial, and he's gone, oh, go on then, because Adebayor and Weghorst again on paper, stunning. I rate the Chris Meffam signing very highly because I've done the exact same thing.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. So how are you setting up then? How is your direct Burnley football?
I mean, all the lot of listeners are sat at their laptops or their audio devices going 4-4-2. That's what he's doing. He's got his centre halves sat on the 6-yard line. He's got his central midfielders on the 18-yard line, and he's got Weghorst on the halfway line. That's exactly what we are.
Yeah, there we go. Can I just I'm just going to do my shocked YouTuber thumbnail face.
Yeah,
4-4-2. Who saw that coming?
Tony Jameson takes over Burnley, and the formation he used will blow your mind. Spoiler alert! It won't. It's exactly what you expect it to be.
It's exactly what you thought it was going to be.
It's actually the 4-4-2 formation that we were using out in Argentina, where we were deliberately designing that low block, absorb all the pressure, hit on the break. And because I'll be honest, I forgot they had Aaron Lennon at Burnley. I forgot I had a pacey outlet man, and Aaron Lennon was apparently that guy. So I'm sort of using him every now and again. But Dwight McNeil is someone a little bit special. So
I love Dwight McNeil. Can't speak highly enough of him. He's him and Joe Geldhart actually stars of another offline save I was doing before the Northwest save. Obviously, both being lads from the Northwest, sign them up in that save, and they're both superb. I found it took me a while I couldn't figure out how to get the best out of Dwight McNeil. Took me a good kind of couple of months to get him really firing. I've gone a little bit more, a bit out, not out there for Burnley, because I think like you, I was tempted by the idea of PSV, but like George said in the Discord, it's a little bit too similar to what we did last time out with Bruges. So like yourself, I made that difficult call to PSV. Like, sorry lads, not this time. And I swear, as I was putting the phone down, I heard bottles popping. It could have been a coincidence. Who knows? It's like, that's weird. Must be some kind of weird Dutch tradition. Just they just pop a balloon, will end a phone call or something. Who knows? Who's to say?
Like when people cheer an airplane landing. Like apparently in Holland, they cheer phone calls ending. So it's like
they're just really
it
must be. They can't get many of them. I've gone down the Chris Meffam route. See, I've said it kind of looks like it's kind of a 3-5-2. Is the way I've kind of got it set up. So I'm playing 3 at the back. I've got Maxwell Cornet as the kind of the left wing back. And then it was kind of what to do on the right hand side that I was struggling with. and it was kind of where to fit Dwight McNeil in, because originally I had him a little bit further up the pitch as kind of like a right midfielder. Nothing happening. And then I moved him up a little bit again so he's more of like a right attacking midfielder, and that's where it kind of started to work. So he's a lot farther up, and then I've got a central defensive midfielder in front of them, just holding it down, doing anchorman things or ball winning midfielder things, and then my masterstroke, I've got a deep line playmaker in. And I'll give you 3 guesses as to who I signed to be the deep line playmaker, the man that's just going to be firing balls all over the pitch, unlocking things for Big Val Weghorst up front. Can you think of anybody who might be a good deep line playmaker that I might be a little bit in love with, that might be available on the cheap? Who could it possibly be?
Is it Renato Sanchez? No, it's not.
It's not Renato Sanchez, because I didn't have £72 million to buy him. He was on the list.
Is it Barry Bannon?
You're bloody right, it's Barry Bannon. Begbie at Burnley. That's what I've done, and I've got him in all set pieces. He's on penalties. He's on free kicks. I won a stat padding season for Barry Bannon in the Premier League.
Love it. I love it.
Every single match. Ian Woan is like, I think we should swap Barry Bannon for somebody else. I'm like, shut up, Ian. How dare you?
On that note, by the way, I love the fact that you put in the Discord when I posted up about the save. Like, oh, well done on getting Ian Ward as your assistant manager. I was like, he's everyone's assistant manager.
No. I didn't. No, I didn't realize. I didn't realize he was my assistant manager. It took me like 2 or 3 weeks because I've been, while Tony's been competing in PvP, I've been sat behind the scenes in some tournaments judging everybody. And when we were doing the 92-93 database, every single panel I was doing, I was like, Ian Woan, sign Ian Woan. He's really, really good. And then there he was as my assistant manager. So it's the best day of my life. I just didn't realize. It took me about a month to twig it. But he hates Barry Bannon. So
jealousy. Jealousy, that's what it is, isn't it?
Exactly. Dirty jealousy. Val Weghorst. Now, you went the Joe Geldhart route. I gambled because I to be fair, I think I made more transfers in the first week than I did in the entirety of the challenge before with Bruges. Because Bruges, I thought that this squad looks like fun. I want to play with it. The Burnley squad also exists. So I was like, well, we need to...
Burnley squad, sit over there and think about what you've done.
Yeah, you just stop now. Jack Cork, not in my
Was it a little bit like...
So.
When they have the Simpsons and Mr. Burns brings in all the ringers for the baseball team, and it's good. Your name's Dal Strawberry.
yeah, a little bit.
You play right field. Yep. I play right field. Yep. Are you better than me? I've not met you, but I'm going to say yeah.
Yes, that is the exact conversation that Paolo Alsacia had with Vidra when he turned up at the training ground. You're also a striker. Jay Rodriguez is addicted to Nerve Tonic. His head's massive now. It's a whole thing. Aaron Lennon's fallen in the Burnley mystery vortex.
One mishap, I could take 2 mishaps. That's a little bit out there, but 11, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, Jack Cork wouldn't shave his sideburns, so I sold him for £2 million on transfer deadline day. It's furious.
Ben Mee, can you save that burning building, please?
Yeah. No, Ben Mee has survived. Ben Mee survived the cull. It's suddenly it took them a while to get going, but once they got going, it's looking good. I don't know how far through. I'm in January at the moment. I was playing a bit this afternoon. I looked at my starting 11 and I thought I might send Tony a screenshot of this. But if I do, he's probably not going to want to record the podcast tonight because he's going to hate everything that I've done. He's going to absolutely despise this because there's a lot of players that were... I think my starting 11 kind of cemented itself quite quickly. And I think so. It's weird because there's a lot of big personalities in that Burnley squad. So if they're not getting minutes, there's a lot of people kicking off. And I was like, we can work around this. We can work around this by you leaving. and me reinvesting the money elsewhere. So I've got a very, very, very different looking kind of squad to the one that was there at the start of the save. But you know, I've stuck to my principles. I've not done the tactic of, well, let's bankrupt the club in the long run. You know, if I wanted to carry on the save, I could. I probably won't, but I could. Yeah, Burnley's back three in my save at the moment are Ben Mee, Daniel Rugani from Juve, because they transferred. Yeah, because they.
Why not?
Yeah,
Clearly.
because why not? Because James Tarkowski was like, I think I might explore my options at the end of my contract, and I was like, or I could just sell you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll
we
explore
can-
your options right now by making you live somewhere else.
And your options are ta-ta, James. Have fun elsewhere. So
Turns out your options are limited. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, in came Rugani and what's his name? I'm going to get the national. I'm going to get the nationality.
Get the nationality wrong. It's a thing, isn't it?
I think it's something like Timo Kehrer. He's one of PSG. He's one of their backup centre backs. So he's just coming on loan. So suddenly, I've got this quite attractive, stylish European defence. Also with Ben Mee, who's just there.
Ben,
all right, lads.
Ben Moi, you call him.
Yeah, Benito Moi. So he's kicking around there.
Yeah, definitely change his name on the games. That sounds.
I think I might have.
That sounds exotic. That sounds very exotic.
Yeah, but no, it's going too well. Like too well. Like not since the last time I did a monthly challenge that went this well. It was Wickham, and I did well with Wickham, but again, constantly expecting those wheels to fall off. Constantly expecting the wheels to fall off. I'm there. It's the Simpsons Halloween episode with the little gremlin on the side of the school bus, and everything's fine until everyone gets off, and then it just collapses in on itself and gets set fire. And I'm going to get carted off to a mental asylum afterwards
for trying to bring cafe culture to Burnley.
Exactly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move the slider down from direct to just balanced passing. And the board aren't happy.
No,
the board are not happy.
They'll be furious.
They were, yeah, because originally it was basically just like playing a game. It was playground stuff. It was headers and volleys because the ball wasn't allowed to touch the floor. But you know that's fine when you got about Weghorst. Doesn't matter.
I was considering just bringing in short midfielders because, like, obviously with punting the ball from defence, we didn't want it to hit any of them as it was going through.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, that's why I got Barry Bannon, and he doesn't need to duck. All 5'6" of him, he's fine.
Yeah, I like the sound of it, man. I like the sound of it, and hopefully you'll get the season finished. Hopefully, you'll have a decent run at it. If anyone is interested, of course, in taking part of the challenge, do of course head up on the Discord. It's in there, and we'll be announcing next month's challenge very, very soon, which again is going to be exciting. But we've talked a little bit about Rich's online saves. My online stuff has changed ever so slightly. Again, we spoke briefly with Ben about this one. We have, of course, been doing this sort of South American journey. And we mentioned being in Argentina. We mentioned playing 4-4-2s. We mentioned playing low blocks, and it's fine. It's good, but I think we sort of have hit a bit of a brick wall with it too. I don't really know where the save's going to go at this point. So we racked our brains and thought, what's the sort of stuff that we like about online streaming and management? And we agreed that it's not winning things. Is what we all went, Tony, we've all had a bit of a meeting, and it turns out that winning things is not really your sort of style of management, right? And I was like, that's a good point. We worked that one out. Good. Everyone's paying attention. So we've come up with a new concept. Okay, now Ben has the Glory Hunter, which is a well-known concept that people have started doing. Obviously, Achievement Hunter is also a thing. We have invented Story Hunter, which is where we will try for the remaining time of the FM22 game cycle to complete as many narrative-based objectives as we can possibly come up with.
Yes. I love it. I love everything about it.
Gone are win a trophy, win a World Cup. We are going to have things like manage a club who's bottom of the league, escape relegation on the last day of the season, overtake a local rival, relegate a rival. Oh,
they've got it coming, those rivals. Don't know who they are yet.
Leave a club for your rival. Ooh. Like, so all this sort of thing is going to be bubbling on. And we started it last week, I think it was. Unemployed, no badges, no experience. We've ended up at Brackley in the Vanarama North. I don't know the Vanarama National, I think it is actually, isn't it? And we have already ticked off our first achievement, because when we took over them, they were bottom of the league. So we've done achievement 1 straight away. Loved it. Absolutely fantastic. We should also consider adding a new achievement of manage a former hero from a former save. Because when we got in there, in the Brackley squad was Bradley Rolt, who was in our Peterborough save in FM21. He was the young striker who came on, scored a goal in the first ever Papa John's. I keep wanting to call it the Pizza Cup. In the first ever Pizza Cup final, he scored an absolute rocket. I'm sure it was like his second or third appearance for the club. And we turned up, and Bradders is in there, and I'm like, oh, this is perfect, okay? And we've got a guy called Wes York, who used to play for York, who hates playing there, and he now wants to leave. York versus Brackley was the actual National League playoff semi-final this weekend as well. So it's all a little bit too close to home right now. We've taken charge, and our first match in charge, we won 4-1. Bradders scores a rocket after 40 seconds. I've got no idea what on earth the previous manager was doing with him. I've turned it on. I've went, all right, Bradders, lad. And he's like, I'm going to score a rocket for you, boss. And I was like, good. And he did. He did. He's we've renamed his right foot NASA, because that thing launches shuttles. The first 30 seconds of that match was people clearing for takeoff, and then he just went at ease. Flew in the top corner. So he scores 2 goals on his debut, on his debut, like my managerial debut, and he misses a penalty because, of course, narrative. We win 4-1. We win our second match. Again, he comes in flying, gets himself another couple of goals. We then take on the team who are currently sat bottom because, of course, we're flying up the table after 2 wins. We lose 3-0.
Yeah,
because of course we do.
Yeah.
But it's fun. People are into it. I think it's something a little bit different. And again, it's going to be a bit of a community feel to it, because we want you to suggest some achievements that we can have within the game. So again, we don't want stuff as in challenges, as in like, oh, you know, don't buy players or whatever. Like, it's going to be, think about narrative structure, think about things that will jump out and go, oh, wouldn't it be cool if? And we've got things like, you know, for example, get a young player from the youth system to become the club captain who wins a trophy. That would be amazing. Like, or if you manage to move stadium, manage the first game of that new stadium, or get the club's first ever trophy, or get the club into the football league for the first time. Those sorts of things is what we're thinking about. So I mean, Rich, anything that's jumping out of your head that we can add to the spreadsheet? And of course, we'll be updating it constantly as well, and we'll make it bigger. Like, we're not going to complete the Story Hunter this year, but if we make it something that's going to develop, then next year it's going to be the Save.
Absolutely. You know, I think because the beauty of this is it's just so many things as well, are just callbacks to just wonderful, you know, TGFM stream moments, which is, you know, which is a delight. You know, I'm a big fan of the you know, I'm a big fan of things like you had Ricky J. Jones with Peterborough last year. You know, sell a promising young striker or player from any position, sell a promising youngster to a bigger rival, and then either bringing them back on loan or inevitably bringing them back on a free transfer 2 or 3 years further down the line after their contract expires at their new club.
That was a wonderful piece of business. I love it.
So good.
£7 million plus future add-ons. He played 7 matches on loan for someone else. He went to Holland, I think it was. And then we brought him back on loan for 3 seasons and re-signed him for free. Like, just amazing business. That's the sort of thing we want. That's the sort of thing that we want. And again, like with Peterborough, going back to a club and saving them in their hour of need, the great escape. That's what we're all set up for. We're not here for winning trophies. We want to take a small nation and play their first competitive match in a World Cup or a continental tournament. That's what we want.
Yes, that's it. Taking a team who are, bottom half of the world rankings, taking the international job on a whim, and then flirting with major tournaments with fantastic stuff. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to watch it and just be part of the journey, because it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. I think it is exactly the right save, and I'm like I say, I think a lot of people within the community are going to be very, very excited to watch it and see where it goes, and just see what happens, because there's going to be moments. There's going to be many wonderful moments. So signing a player, you then realise that you can't register for an entire half a season.
I mean, that's not an achievement, right? That's just something that just happens. Like, misread the league registration rules.
Misread the yes, a mistake has been made here somewhere.
Yeah, that happens too regularly, doesn't it? Sign a player who has broken his leg. Because again, there's some stuff on that that's just physically impossible to get, like, and it would be something like, sign a player for, like, probably like a decent signing player who then gets injured for the rest of the season. That's a great narrative point, but you can't really put that as an achievement.
You're not necessarily in control of that, are
exactly.
you?
Like, oh, good, yeah, well done. You signed a player who retired straight away. Brilliant. You could get stuff of, like, players returning as sort of backroom staff or something, but yeah, like, any ideas you've got, any suggestions you've got, there's a new channel in the Discord that just says Story Hunter. So again, go and pop any ideas in there. The good ones will, of course, get added to the challenge, but of course, it will be a constantly evolving thing. So just because it doesn't get picked now doesn't necessarily mean it won't get picked for next year. It just needs a bit of padding and a bit of fleshing out. So if that's the sort of thing that you're interested in, come and join the Discord, and of course, come and follow the save over on Twitch. Now, Rich, I think that probably brings us to the end of our episode. I think it's been quite a fun one tonight.
I would call that a podcast for sure. Yeah, it's been ever so nice. Ever so nice.
It has,
just
man.
Yeah, man. Nice little catch up. Find out what's going on.
Excellent.
We're not always gonna be able to rely on a Dr. Benji to turn up and carry us through episodes. Sometimes we have to do the graft ourselves.
Hey, mate, don't worry. We will have plenty of guests coming forward. If there's any suggestions for guests that you want us to try and contact with, do of course let us know. We're happy to do that. But of course, it's always good fun, the pair of us sitting down and getting these done. Rich, if people want to find your Lille save or potentially your Burnley save, where could people find you on both Twitch and other parts of the internet?
Twitch.tv/Rich Owens FM is where you will find me streaming some fair to middling FM content on a fairly regular basis. You can find me over there if you want to catch up with find out things like stream schedules, just what's going on. Opinions I may have. It's at Rich Owens FM on Twitter as well. Wouldn't recommend looking at anything else I do, because it's just terrifying and horrible. Wouldn't recommend that at all. What about you, Gaffer? Where are they finding your content and words?
Well, you can find me over at Twitch as well. It's twitch.tv/Tony Jameson FM, and it's Tony Jameson on Twitter. You can also, of course, follow the podcast on Twitter, which is at FMTPod. And on YouTube as well. We're over there as well. So search FMTPod or Football Manager Therapy. And of course, you can also come and hang out with us over on Patreon, where we are making exclusive content for Patreon. You can become a Patreon member for as little as £1 a month. That gets you the same access as if you were paying £3. We've got some limited options on that. We also have a £5 and a £10 and even a £20 option as well. Thank you so much to everyone who has, of course, joined up to support the podcast. It's very, very kind of you to do so. As I say, Patreon members do get early access to both the YouTube videos and the weekly episode podcast. You get an extra podcast a month as well, and then we're going to do some merch discounts, some links to our save files, tickets for, of course, when we do live shows as well. So there's loads of stuff in there. So if you're interested in it, go and have a little look over at patreon.com/FMTPod. And all that really is left now is to say thank you all for listening, watching, Rich for being here, hanging out with us over this time. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you stay safe. We hope we'll see you again on another episode of Football Manager Therapy.